Bunny is a dinosaur and he is very hungry. Backstage after every show he eat up all the children. Bunny very hungry. He eat up all the children.
Welcome everybody to BC's Dear Diary again. So today I've got with me he's not a record winning, he's not an award winning, he's not a Grammy winning, he's not a bestseller, but he's my good friend. Let's welcome Mr. Daryl Spykerman.
Hey, Boon.
Hey, what's up?
Well, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Thank you for having me on your show.
Anything, bro.
The intro. Good
intro. Anyway, before we get into serious topics today, we are gonna have a very serious topic with you. I mean, I'm not the most serious person, but I'm trying to be serious. But before we go serious,
whoa,
bro, come on! This is not the North London Derby. They are from the South. The London Derby. I mean, before this game, our form was horrible. I mean, as a matter of fact, there was no form to talk about. And then yesterday, we even had this little prediction thing going on in our first chat. So, I mean, most of them went for a 2-0 win, or I mean, I'm the only one that went for a loss for us because whenever I predict we win, we lose. So I thought we do some reverse psychology. So, how do you think of the game yesterday?
I think it was, you can notice from our chat, right, our very active Spurs boys chat. Actually, not a lot of people were enthusiastic about the game, but I think a few of them, like Kai, got everyone going, were asking about predictions, and then people started to get involved. It's been difficult for everyone to get back into football because after 3 months, Premier League has been in lockdown, and then now the football has come back, but you can see the games are just rushing, right? We don't even know when the teams are playing. Every day there's a game. And this London derby, as you say, came around, and we were not so enthusiastic, right? Because the season also hasn't been good for Spurs. It's been just as bad or worse for Arsenal also. And in the end, we got excited about the game, and it was an exciting game, right? I was watching it. Last night, and it was actually quite exciting. There were a lot of chances, and the game was very open. You could see, I think Lucas Moura was the most hardworking player. By 60 minutes, right, he was tired already. He needed to be substituted, but he still kept going. The players kept going, and we had chances throughout the game. Ben Davies had a chance, hit the bar, and in the end, we managed to snatch the winner. I think 10 minutes to go, corner from Sunny, and then Toby with the header. Oh boy, 2-1 win.
I was screaming. when he scored. I was like, I opened my window and I screamed out. I don't know whether I got any complaints or not. So people in GRC, if you heard a crazy fucker shouting yesterday, it's me. Because you all vote wrongly. Okay? That's why.
Dangerous, bro.
Okay. Anyway, enough of the North London Derby or whatever, the Derby. I call it the London Derby. I mean, everyone knows that we are not from North London, so it's the London Derby. Anyway, let us move on to more serious topic. As I mentioned, today will be a serious topic. I mean, there are many people, including myself, we do not really know much about your heritage, the Eurasian community in Singapore. So I think there's maybe about 10,000 of you guys in Singapore. Your population is about 10,000 or plus minus, right?
Yeah, so, I think about like 16,000 or something like that.
I mean, all of us think that you are Ang Mo, or are you all not Ang Mo? So maybe today you can share a bit more with us about the culture and more about your culture and basically the society, the community itself.
Okay. Yeah. So the question is like, who are we, or how did we come about, right? So
along that line.
So Eurasian means intermarriage between European and Asian. So like Euro-Asian, Eurasians, right? So basically that's how the term came about. It's been there for as long as the Western countries have been coming to Asia and colonizing Asia. So it was during that period, like we learned about Raffles, and after that all the traders who came from England, who came from Portugal, who came from Holland as well, like the Dutch. So my surname Spykerman is from my dad's side, and dad is Dutch, and my mom is on the Portuguese side also. So I remember growing up, and people would always ask me, "What race are you?" So I would say I'm Eurasian, and then they would say, "What about your father?" Then I say my father is Eurasian. Then they say, "What about your mother?" Then I say my mother also is Eurasian. Then they say, "Where's the Asian?" Damn. So I'm very confused also when I started to go to school and people would ask me these innocent questions, right? Because like when you're in primary school, you just ask all these questions without thinking. So for me in primary school, I found it quite interesting that I always had to answer these kind of questions, and people were starting to ask me about my heritage and where I came from. So for me, I know that my ancestors on my dad's side are from Holland, the Dutch, and my mom's side, they are the Portuguese, and I know my mom's side, they settled in Malacca, and then from Malacca, they came down to Singapore. I think somewhere along the line, like one of the men must have married a local woman in either Malaysia or Singapore. And I think that's why I don't really look Caucasian, but I don't look like a typical Asian on the street as well also. So it's somewhere in between. And we've been here like for generations already, because there's me, my parents, my grandparents, great grandparents, they've all been in Singapore already. So we've been here for hundreds of years. And I mean, we are Singaporean in like every sense. We went to the PCF kindergarten, we went to regular primary, secondary school, went for national service, and we are part of Singapore. And sometimes we feel a bit different, but we know that Singapore is our home, and Singapore is where we are and where we chose to be. Interesting, I do have like relatives, my grand uncles. They actually left Singapore after independence. So in the mid-60s, I think just before Singapore got independence, and around that time, some of them actually left. They went to Australia or they went to England, and they actually were worried about how Singapore would turn out, because there was a lot of upheaval, because we wanted the British to go, or the British were going to leave anyway. Singapore was going to be on our own. We didn't know how things were going to be, right? And so some of them took the decision to leave. So a lot of them have resettled, settled down in Perth, migrated to Perth, or even to the US, or even to parts of England. And that's how I spread all over the world. And it's interesting, you see how centuries ago they came to Asia, they intermarried, and then some of them have gone back to Europe. And then now, I mean, Asia is the place to be, right? In terms of trade, in terms of globalization, in terms of getting jobs also. I do have some distant relatives who actually in the end came to Asia and Singapore to find work, because after getting a good education in England, you struggle sometimes to start work. And Singapore or Asia, Southeast Asia has a lot of opportunity. Obviously before COVID-19, now that's another issue.
All right. I mean, now we get to know more. So when you were young, do you climb trees, catch spiders, and play football under void deck?
Oh, we stayed near TV. We play football under the void every day. And I stayed in Sengkang North in my secondary school days. So we played football there, and there's once we were caught by the police for playing football under the block. So actually rounded us up. I think they came a few times. So this was the second or third time. So I think they were quite smart. So like some of them came from one side of the block, some of them came from the other side. So they managed to round us out. And I think at 14, 15, you kind of freeze when you see the police. So it's just like, oh. Yeah. So they didn't handcuff us, right? But they just took us to walk back to the police station. So they were not rough. There was no like police brutality and all that. We could have just ran off, but if we could have just ran off, they probably wouldn't catch us, or there'll be too many of us. There's maybe like only 3 policemen. Yeah, but we're all at the police station and we all sat there. And then they said, like, call your parents now. So we said, okay, we'll call our parents. So you have to call your parent, and then your parent will come and get you, so you could go back. So my friend, he was worried, because like he's a very good Chinese boy, very studious, but of course he loves football. So he's like, wow, if my parents find out, like that's it, I'm gonna get it from them. Then for me and my brother Andre, we were picked up by the police. So we were at the station, then called our dad. So we told our dad we're at the police station. We got caught for playing football. So he said, I see, I told her don't play football under the block. The police will come and catch you all. Now see what happened. Then he said, where are you all now? Then I said, I'm at the police station. Like this is very serious already. My dad was my dad also may deal with us when we get home. So in the end, my dad came down. My dad came down, and a policeman was there. Then my dad said, "Yeah, these are my kids." So the policeman said, you can go, and it wasn't like anything. The police didn't put our names in any record and anything. It was just let us go. Like your parents come, you can go off already.
Yeah, that was scary, you all.
Yeah. I think maybe got people so they have to act also. Then the best part after we got out, so we're walking along the block. Then my dad said, "Do you want to come back and have lunch or to eat or what?" We say, "No, we're going to meet our friend." Then he said, "Okay, just go off." So when we got back also, he didn't scold us or complain anymore. So my dad was thankfully chill on that day also.
I mean, speaking about Eurasian dads, if that was my dad, I go police station, I go home, I'm gonna get one good one lah. For Eurasians, right? You are a bit like what you say, a bit angmo also, So I think is your upbringing will be a little bit more angmo compared to the traditional Chinese or Malay Indian family. So do you get hantam a lot?
Yeah, I guess every parent is different, right? Like the stereotype is that in Chinese the parents are very strict, but it's for your own good, right? It's in a way tough love. Just focus on your studies, don't mess about, and you have a good career. I look back as a parent, I've done well for you. Sometimes in Indian families it can be a bit more chaotic. There's a bit more upheaval, but it's also a lot of love that they get from the mom, especially for Indian families. And for Malay families, it's a very big community. It's not just your parents you have, it's also your extended relatives you have. That is part of the bigger community. In a way, really, like the kampong spirit, those are the stereotypes. And for Eurasians, I think everyone assumes that we have the Western style of bringing up the kids where you're more liberal with the kids or you let the kids make the mistakes. But I think for my parents, it was that, but also trying to manage the Asian side of it. So they were very strict because they know that if we mess around and we did not focus in school, then we'll get left behind, right, in terms of education or doing well in school. So my mom was always very strict with us. And my dad would be the good guy or the guy who tend to say yes. So my parents, they worked out. It was a tag team between the both of them. So my dad would talk to my mom and said, we have to deal with them. They did not do well. We need to scold them or we need to teach them a lesson. Then my mom will be the one to carry out the action. Yeah. And then, but of course, our mom loves us because she's the one who did all the cooking and prep us for school and sit with us through our homework. My dad would have the maybe in a way easier time because he would help us all the things we needed. He would help us like build a wrestling ring as kids or something like that. So I think that's how they managed to work it out. I think definitely not easy when you have to bring up 3 boys in Singapore and a minority. So sometimes you don't really know how to manage kids also when they were being parents at that time in like the 90s or late 80s.
Okay, bro. Speaking about wrestling, I remember a couple of years ago, we went to a wrestling show in Singapore, the SPW.
In Singapore?
Yeah, we were watching the match. You were screaming, you were crazy. And then when the commentator was introducing the next wrestler, the wrestler's name is the Eurasian. He happens to be Eurasian as well. So I turned over to you, hey, bro, do you? And you told me, no, I do not know him. Has that happened to you a lot? Like people, I think that because you are like a small community that everyone knows everyone.
Yeah, I think it's happened a lot. It's happened a lot now in the past years in my adult life. So people will come up to me and say, "Oh, do you know this person and that person?" Just based on the surname Spykerman. So there's actually Spykermans in Malaysia who've come down to Singapore to work in the media industry, and people ask whether I know, and I said, "Oh, I don't know," and I feel so embarrassed to say no because it's so small. It's the same surname, like I should know, right? Yeah, like I know my cousin Kimberly works in media, but there's another Spykerman also that's working in Singapore, but I don't know like who she is, and I think most likely she came from Malaysia. and I don't know her. But it's interesting that now it's come this way, because when I was growing up, right, so I thought that everyone knew everyone because we had the same surname. So I thought that, yeah, if I'm a Spykerman, I know all the Spykermans in Singapore. Like, it can't be that many. Like, I will know all of them for sure, for sure. So when I went to school, and then I have friends, right, who are the surname is Tan, is Ng, is Lim, and all this. Then I said, hey, you all should be related, right? You all are all like cousins or distant cousins. And then people were like, no. They're like, but why? It should be what? Then they're like, there's millions of people in Singapore. I say, yeah, but you have the same surname, your Tan, or your Lim, your Lee, your Lim. Like, y'all should all be related, like somehow y'all are related, right, through marriage. Then people like, no way you get this kind of idea. Then I'm like, my family is like that, like, I know all the Spykermans, supposedly lah.
Yeah, okay. I mean, to all the Spykermans out there, if you watch this video, please reach out to my good friend Daryl here. He needs to reach out. He need to reconnect with all of you.
We are trying to connect the Spykerman tree from Singapore beyond worldwide.
Yeah. I mean, apart from all these, funny stories, good stories. I mean, even in this the recently concluded GE, there were talks, there was incidents of, racism, hoo-ha about racism, people playing the race card. I mean, this has been very a common occurrence. So with all these factors, racism and all, and you being a minority, what do you have to say to everyone listening and watching right now about racism and
Yeah, I think racism is it's terrible that it's still here in this day and age, but it's different for a lot of countries. It depends on the journey of the country. Like, if you compare the United States to Singapore, to the UK, for example, it's all very different. Like how the minorities in those countries settled down and how they were treated. I have to say, in Singapore, that we are treated fair. Growing up, I mean, you do get these small instances of people being nasty, being racist, but they don't know it, or they all just think it's fun, or it's something to laugh at. And sometimes they say, oh, you have to laugh at yourself before you can laugh at others. But we always have to be careful with the racist jokes, or the racist notions that we had of others lah. And always try to treat each other with respect, and also try to understand them. I guess everyone is different, growing up in their own culture and the way they have experienced life also. So it's very important to keep that in mind.
I mean, I think you put it perfectly. I mean, respect and understanding. If you understand the other people, especially in Singapore, we are such a small community. It doesn't take too much effort to actually understand your friends, from which race, from religion, stuff like that. And I mean, we are in Singapore, so I don't think this is a very big problem. So I think we should just learn about each other, care for each other. I mean, I'm a Chinese. I play cricket. My whole team is Indian. You know what they call me you know what's my nickname? My name was Manjan lah. I thought Manjan was a cool name, until one day I realized it's yellow. And then when we are taking the MRT to matches, when the train arrives, they will all stand behind me. I was like, why you? Then it will suddenly go Manjan Purga, Bina Deningala, stand behind yellow lah. I think that it's all fun, and there's no racism intended, especially with your kids. So I think for people, I think nowadays with social media and people being a little bit snowflakey, I think we should watch what we say, and then especially such jokes don't have any place in society today. So,
I think when you're not the minority, so when you're the majority, you can laugh it off as a joke. But I guess, especially as your kids growing up, sometimes you can feel isolated. I mean, I know we always say everyone's different, or it's good to be different or to be unique. But sometimes growing up as a kid, right, you just want to fit in with everyone. So for me, there were times as a kid when I was 7, 8 years old, I just wanted to fit in with everyone, like, go under the radar, low profile, like they say now, and just get on with school or have normal friends. But sometimes it's difficult when you have a name like Daryl Spykerman, and then the teacher will just call your name just to be amused, or your friends will want to find out more about you. Like nobody is really going to find out about Joel Lim, for example. Like he's just normal, one of the mill guy who's good at his work, or just normal. It's just normal. Like nobody will bother about Joel Lim. like
Joel Lim.
Teochew Hokkien mix or what. Like that's the most. Yeah, so I guess sometimes as a kid it's good, like if you don't have to deal with all these things. I guess that was something that I had to deal with. So it was quite interesting as I grew up. Then I look back, like you understand why people act the way they do, and yeah, it's different experience that I had growing up.
Okay, bro. From one heavy topic to another heavy topic. Okay, you won the cockles of my heart. You stay in Sengkang. You voted in the Sengkang GRC.
But bro, you don't know who I voted for.
I don't know who you voted for. So, what do you think about this result? And what is, in your opinion, is there any impact? And I mean, I understand that the demographics in Sengkang GRC are the younger Singaporeans, married younger Singaporeans are the so-called sandwich generation. So, do you think that actually play a part in which, these are the people that are vocal, that want to make their voices heard, and as I mentioned, they are the sandwich generation. So, do you think that play a part?
Yeah, I mean, I live in Sengkang. I've been living here 20 years. It's my parents' place. And over the years, blocks have just been coming up. Every plot of land has just been taken up for new blocks, and people have been shifting in. So a lot of young families, I mean, they're all my age, and they have, one or two kids, or they're all going to settle down. And it's definitely it's a younger demographic that they have here, if you compare maybe with like Toa Payoh, for example. So I guess for them, it has to be more than just a town council being run well. Maybe you can say we take it for granted, but I feel it's more that we demand more from the MP who will be in Parliament to raise these issues to the incumbent, and also to bring up issues that will matter to the people. And maybe they want to see more of an alternative representation in Parliament as well. So maybe that's why the Workers' Party got more votes in the end.
Okay, speaking of the Workers' Party and opposition and alternative voice, do you think I will stand a chance if I run as an independent?
Bro, you know there was one independent, right? Was it the Phuket Batok?
I don't know. His logo is a horse, lah. I mean,
It's a horse.
his logo.
He's a horseman.
I mean,
It's difficult, lah. I think it's difficult in Singapore if you want to like run in politics as an independent. I don't know. Like if you really want to serve the people, like that's great. But I think to be a MP, you have to be more than that, right? You also have to think about policy, maybe even craft policy and challenge like the incumbent on policies. So if it's just going to be a one-man show, it's not going to be easier.
you know my Chinese cannot make it one, right? Do you think me and Chao Siu will make a good team?
I want to translate for you, is it?
I mean, imagine the two of us tanking the five-man debate again, and then both of us like don't know what to say. 再见.
He kept fighting. That Charles, have to give it to him. He kept going in that debate.
Yeah. I think the 28% he got like 27 of it.
Yeah, that's why.
All right, bro. I mean, okay. I really don't put in a spot lah. I've been asking you a lot of heavy topics. Another heavy topic lah. For 4 friends, Daniel Levy.
3 heavy topics. Okay. Let's see.
Daryl Levy, in or out, or what do you think?
So Daniel Levy, for those who may not know, is the chairman, right? He's the chairman of Tottenham Hotspur. Yeah.
Yeah, he's the Vince McMahon of Tottenham.
So he's been chairman about 19 years, since 2001. And if you look from where Spurs have come since then, he's done a very good job. very good job to modernize Spurs as a club in terms of the training ground, the stadium, the administration. He's done very well. The owners, ENIC, have done very well. And there is some criticism that we need to do more, or they should do more. So there's always that push and pull factor. If we say levy out, then who will come in and buy Spurs, right? Essentially, we are asking who's going to come in and buy Spurs. So that's the difficult question, because levy or the owners will not sell for cheap, and there's very few billionaires out there who want to invest in a football club. I would say, stick with Daniel Levy, and supporters, we will just stick with the club. I mean, I've been supporting Spurs 25 years. So in the 90s, right, it was really bad. Like, if you were born, if you're in your 20s, then you thank your lucky stars. If you're in your 20s, you're a Spurs supporter, you thank your lucky stars. Because in the 90s, we were bad. That was when I was 14, 15, when you wanted to have a decent football club to sort of boost your morale at school, when everyone was a Manchester United and a Liverpool supporter. So today the club is fine overall. Like, we are trying to get new players in, because the players we had 5-6 years ago have aged and become older and not as sharp as before. So we're in the process of bringing in new players. So I think we'll be fine. Give it another year to. Yeah, it takes time. It's not like Football Manager where you just buy all the players and then play 5 friendly and then you're good to go. It doesn't work that way.
You just reset.
You play first, then you lose, and then you lose the game.
Okay, anyway, thank you so much, Daryl, for joining us today. So, I really appreciate all that you shared with us. I hope that with your little sharing, our viewers, our friends will have a better understanding of the Eurasian community in Singapore, as well as for all you Levy haters out there. According to Mr. Daryl Spykerman, Levy is here to stay. According to me, we should have Vince McMahon as the owner. Yeah. So
if that happened, it would be fine. If Vince McMahon wanted to buy the club and he met Levy's asking price, then why not?
Oh, that would be damn cool. I think Finn Balor should be our manager.
Can you imagine a special guest appearance? Finn Balor.
All right. Once again, thank you so much, Daryl, for joining us today. So, friends, guys, please do like and comment and subscribe below. Click on the bell button to get notifications. Once again, Daryl, thank you so much. We have a great evening. And once again, glory, Tottenham Hotspurs. North London is white. I see you.
Thank you. Take care. Like and share.